That would be us going live. Okay. We are live. Now let me go and see. We have a few people. Hi, Irene. Hi, Lena. It's nice to see y'all. Thanks for dropping in. Let me go back to the Zoom so I can see your face again. Hang on. Okay. There you are. Okay, so we have a few people in the room already. Y'all say hello and where are y'all from? I'm going to go ahead because we have quite a few people in the room already. So I know they're excited to talk to you. Excuse me. So I'm going to go ahead. Before I introduce you or reintroduce you, I just want to let everybody know I will not be doing roundtable tomorrow morning, Saturday. I have got to catch up on some reading requests through email. I've got a backlog of email I need to get to. So I'm going to do that. I'm not getting dressed or putting on makeup or anything. So y'all just won't see me. I might get brave and let y'all see me, but probably not. Hi, Tracy. Hi, Sunflower. Hey, Judy. It's good to see you. Jody, much love to you. Oh, I'm so glad you've been listening to that song, Eternal Flame. That warms my heart. That was a huge, huge message for you guys. Irene says, hi, Maxine. It's good to see you. Helen, hi. It's good to see you from West Virginia. Leanne, good to see you. Jody, nice to see you. I am so, you just were up there. I said, nice to see you. Yes, I'm so grateful for you. I'm glad you cried happy tears. That's important. Judy from Nevada, love you. Okay, let's go ahead and get started, guys. We're having a revisit from Miss Maxine. She was with us about 6 or 8 weeks ago, and we talked about, among other things, the Saturn return and what that means and all that. And I think Saturn's in Aquarius right now, right?
Approaching. It's
approaching it, right?
Practically. Oh, wait, you're right. It is there.
It is there. Okay. So, but we're not really going to be talking about that so much as we're going to be talking about the energies that's going on right now with all of this craziness in the world. And Miss Maxine is going to give us that information. If you guys have any questions, do you want them to hold them till the end, Maxine, or do you want them to ask when they're ready?
What I'd like to do is just finish the topic.
Okay.
And then you do it the way that's most comfortable for you.
Okay.
Okay.
If you guys can hold your questions till the end, that way Maxine can get through all of her her information, because I do believe last time we kind of didn't get through all of it. So yeah, if we can let her get through all of the information, and then we'll ask questions. Okay, so now I'm going to turn it over to Miss Maxine Taylor, astrologer from Atlanta, Georgia, the very first licensed and certified astrologer, not only in Georgia, but in the whole United States. Miss Maxine, it's all yours.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Gosh, where do I even begin? Some of you may have been to my YouTube channel and you've seen the video I did on the United States. If not, I'm going to give you that information because I feel like it's real important. I am an empath, and the energies going around now are just killing me. And I bet that many of you feel the same way. In addition, in the South, we have pollen. It's allergy season. And, you know, you just feel teary, bleary, and weary. You know, you don't know whether you should take a Claritin or a drink. And some people are doing both. And if I drank, that's what I don't take medication. So I'd just be, you know, having a wonderful time as you were here. But it's a while back, during one of my, a couple of my forecasts, whether it was my Trumpology forecast or the forecast for the United States, I said, we ain't seen nothing yet. And come the summer, and I should have said the spring, because it's already started. And it is in the spring, but summertime is going to be even more so. We are not going to know who to believe. As we stand here now, today, we've got science on one side and the administration on the other. And they are 180 degrees diametrically opposed. To me, this is insane. And so we have insanity going on in our world, and not just in the United States either. It's all over the world. And I just, at the time, today I watched The View with Governor Newsom from California, talking about how the states, the individual states, now have to get their own ventilators, their own masks, their own supplies. We went from a civil war type energy where people were totally separated in their politics to being at war with a viral infection and not getting the help that they desperately need. And this to me is egregious. I gotta tell you, this is my own personal opinion. Babies are dying, for God's sake. Anyhow, don't get me started. So prayer is vitally important. Light is vitally important. And so I thought, I have the United States chart. Now, there are several United States charts floating around. Those of you who study astrology know that. I use the 7-degree Gemini chart, 7-degree rising chart. It speaks to me. Some people do the Sagittarius chart. I mean, there's something for everything in astrology. And so I thought, I am so sick of hearing the death count go up. It's just, it doesn't have to happen. The information was ignored back when it started. So I thought, all right, I've heard all that. Now I want to look for the silver lining. There's a gift in everything. And so I looked at the United States chart to see when we might expect improvement in our money, in our health, and in our jobs. Those 3 areas are critical now. And the people who are suffering from this feel it. And some of our leaders do feel it.
Right.
They really do. And many seem to be robotic. They don't get it, or they don't care. So I thought what I would do today is share with you those times in 2020 when we can expect a certain amount of improvement in the country. Now, those of you who live outside the United States, I would need your country's birth chart to be able to tell you what's going to go on in your country, and I welcome that. It's like any other birth chart: month, day, and year, where it began, where it was born, and the exact minute. So good luck on finding that. You know, some of our countries were born centuries ago. So I'm going to start with the eclipses because I love eclipses. They're kind of a cosmic kick in the butt.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
the way I look at it. Now, I don't think that the eclipses or the planets make us do anything. They don't. They reflect what's going on. In the Bible, it says, and God put the stars in the heavens for signs. I am honored to be able to read those signs. So I could say, well, these eclipses show us where we are at. and we have a choice as to how we use them, which is true, but it's just easier to say, well, this is what the eclipse triggers and put air quotes around it. So you know what I'm talking about. Excuse me. Pollen in Atlanta. Love it. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. All right. The first eclipse I want to talk to you about, and you can watch this on my YouTube channel, Maxine Taylor Astrologer. So this is not a one-shot deal, and you can of course watch this show anytime you like. So you got it two places. Back on Christmas, the 25th or 26th, we, the United States, had an eclipse in our 8th house of taxes, death, other people's money, debts, escrow, losses, secrets. The 8th house is the house of secrets. And when in a country, when we've got that 8th house triggered, we do not know what's going on. Also, anything in the 12th house, they're not telling us. But the chart says, I'm telling you that they're not telling us. So there are a lot of BS going on. All right, this eclipse was in opposition to our beautiful 2nd house of money, where we have Venus, the lesser benefic, brings money, joy, happiness. Jupiter, the greater benefic, brings abundance. In the house of money, it brings money. And the sun, the giver of life. We've got 3 of the good guys there. And this eclipse opposed that. It pulled away from that. We feel eclipses most strongly, once again, feel the effects, air quotes, 3 to 4 months later. That's right now.
Wow.
People are losing their money. Their companies are closing up. This is unthinkable. Unthinkable. And it didn't happen by accident. It is by design. Did I really say that? Yeah, I did. Okay. And so much for flying beneath the radar. That's what's going on now. Okay. The next eclipse that I want to talk about that will be really, really helpful is July 7th, again, in the 8th house.
Wow.
But what it is doing is it is squaring Saturn. It is opposing our 2nd house of money. And so see this arrow here? It's pointing to the area that is going to be receiving the energy. That's the 11th house of the United States chart. That deals with Congress, congressmen and congresswomen, of course. I use the term congressman generically.
Right.
Legislation. So there's going to be legislation enacted that deals with the treasurer, our debts, escrow, taxes, losses, death, and secrets. The 5th house with Saturn, reality, it deals with fun, with children, with the birth rate, with congressional and public hearings. Okay. And so the 11th house of Congress, legislation, the Treasury, city and county councils. Remember, they're taking things into their own hands. They're not waiting for the government.
Right.
Because as Trump said, if they don't say nice things about me, don't call them back. To governors, I forget what state that, Michigan, I think it is. He referred to the governor there as that woman, and she won't even touch it. She is just fighting for her state. Good for her. And so that's what is triggered, quote unquote. Now, in November 30th, see this star over here? Okay. This star indicates an eclipse that is a new life eclipse. We have a lunar eclipse right on the United States ascendant. When you have an eclipse on your ascendant, it's a new life for you. It's not a new chapter, it's a whole new book. The first house in a mundane chart, well, in a personal chart, deals with your body, with your health. A lunar eclipse enhances your health. It brings about a change. It brings about a new approach, a new life. And in a mundane chart, like a country's chart, it is the political mood of the people. It is the attitude and political mood, and it deals with public health. It also sits on this green planet. Some of you who study astrology recognize the planet Uranus. Uranus is the rebel. Uranus is the great awakener. And so we've got an aspect here that says there can be a rebellion of sorts. I don't know how it's going to manifest. It can be a new start. It will be a new start. And so I'm just going to leave it at that. You might say, you mean we have to wait till November?
Well, here's what I was going to ask you real quick, and it's not a question from there. I just want some clarity for everybody. So the eclipse that took place in December is just now affecting us now. So the one that's coming in July, where is going to affect us August, September, October,
and November. But the thing is, we feel the quote unquote feel the effects of an eclipse about a week before it occurs. We're already, you feel it at the time, but it kicks butt. It's strongest 3 to 4 months later, but it's still in effect until the next pair of eclipses come along, or sometimes there are 3 of them. Now we have 3 eclipses in the summer, but the only thing I'm looking at are those eclipses and transits, movement of the planets that deal with our work, our health, and our money.
right? So whenever Saturn squares that eclipse, it turns the energy from where we are now with all this money stuff and sends it into that other quadrant that you were talking about.
Well, the whole eclipse is a T cross, and like a table leg, a table with 3 legs. The missing leg is where the table falls, so to speak, and it falls into Congress. And so there's going to be legislation going on. Once again, I have no idea how it's going to work. I certainly hope that Congress realizes it has to be bipartisan. Yeah. We cannot go by parties. I don't care how deeply you love somebody or dislike somebody. We got to work as a team. Yes. Because we're in this together. Okay, those are the eclipses. Okay, I've got something here that I put here. It's a full moon in December. And I put a star there because it sits December 30th, last day of the year, sits on our Venus, Jupiter, Sun. A full moon brings things to light, brings things into action. And there it is. Now, in the middle of all this, we have 2 things that are just, you know, I don't know why we created this. When I say we created it, I'm speaking spiritually. We are the creators of our life, and we chose to incarnate whenever we did, so that we would be alive at this time, so that we could step forward and express our light, not our darkness, not hatred, but our light. It's time to move forward, and those who can't are going to have a rough time of it, because it is an opportunity for a whole new world. Remember, it's not just the United States, it's everybody. Right. Okay, what we got going on from early April through the end of July is both Venus and Mercury taking turns, tag teaming us and going retrograde. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you may never have seen any of my videos or had your chart done by an astrologer. So I'm going to explain it a little bit. Mercury rules communication, correspondence, transportation. Venus rules love and beauty and money. When they go retrograde, everything is confused. We do not start new projects under a retrograde Venus or Mercury because they will either fizzle out completely or have to be redone within the year. I've got these specific dates on my YouTube channel, Maxine Taylor, Astrologer. I'm just going to give you the big picture because I know y'all have questions and I want to make sure I have time to answer them.
Right.
Okay, so everything is confused. Where, in what areas of life? First house, our health. Second house, our money. Hello. And remember I said it's the Tower of Babel. And so Mercury is going to be moving along and Venus is moving along. And finally, Venus goes direct on the United States ascendant June 26th through July 9th. And while Uranus is hit, there can be rebellion. It's love. We love ourselves, we improve ourselves, and I see this as a positive thing. Then Venus and Mercury move through our first house. Venus sits on Mars, and that's when we say, do it now. This will be the states, this will be the individuals. And then Mercury is going to go direct on our Jupiter, the great benefic, in our house of money on July 12th. And so we're going to be in this tag team retro from April 4th, I think it is. No, April 9th until the end of July. And then things move forward. Okay,
so we can kind of expect the effects of all this through July, through the summer.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And let me just give you some more good news.
Okay.
The sun, the giver of life, wherever it is in your chart, this is the orbiting sun. It sits on our ascendant and Uranus in May 28th and 29th. This is when we step forward individually. This is when we say, I got to do it my way. It sits on Mars. I'm going to fight you for it. I'm getting out there. I'm doing it. And then in June, from the 23rd of June till the 4th of July, the sun lights up our house of money. But Mercury is retrograde, remember, and Venus is retrograde. And so it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. We got the eclipses. All right. Mercury, what we think about and talk about. Oh my, sitting on our ascendant and our Uranus, we're really going to be expressing how we feel about the government. Some people already are. And there can be, once again, some very rebellious emotional words. At the end of May, Mercury, what we think about and talk about, whatever you think about and talk about grows. You're putting your attention on it. Sits on that second house of money, income. That's great. I do hope that people get the money that they have been promised. Venus, the lesser benefic, sits on our ascendant. I talked about that a minute ago, and on Uranus. And we, April 12th and 13th. That's right around the corner. This can improve our health. The numbers can go down. The death toll can go down. And my understanding is, my understanding is this much about last year's death toll, which had nothing to do with the virus, was more than what we've got going on now. Now, I could be wrong on that, but that's what one of the pundits on TV said. Venus returns to its natal place in the chart. We have a Venus return, yay, August 10th. And then from August 10th through August 20th, Venus blesses our money. How wonderful. And then I wanted to give one final time the full moon and new moon. On full moon, things come to a head. On the new moon, the energy starts. Now, I mentioned December 30th, full moon on our second house of money, Venus, Jupiter, and Sun. Yes, we have a new moon. That's when things start moving. May 22nd on our ascendant and Uranus. Well, I already mentioned that we've got the sun sitting on our ascendant and Uranus in May. We've got Mercury sitting on it in May and Venus on it in April this month. So it's starting. The issue is the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing. That's the problem. Then we have a new moon, October 16th, right on our 6th house of health and jobs. Now, remember, a lot of businesses may not be able to resuscitate themselves, but there's a blessing in everything, and there will be new jobs available. I noticed there are signs out at the Publix near me. We are hiring. There are people doing shopping for you. There are all kind of new jobs we never had before. Okay.
Right.
And then, of course, the full moon, as I said, on the 30th of December, just in time for New Year's. So this is a thumbnail sketch of what we can expect. And I've got more details, as I said, on my YouTube channel, Maxine Taylor Astrologer. And if you have questions, I'm open to any and all of them.
Okay, so and remember there's a 20-second delay, so I'm going to ask for questions, but somebody, and then I'll go up here because somebody did ask a question a while ago.
Okay.
But yeah, if y'all are ready if y'all have questions ready, we're on the other side of the hour, so heading to the other side of the hour. So if you're ready for questions, go ahead and start putting your questions in. Please put question marks before and after, so I'll be able to grab them easily whenever I look. But there is one question that came in earlier, and she must have come in late. I just want to go in real quick and say hi, Dee. Hi, Susan. And anybody else who came in after we started talking. I'm so glad y'all are here. Brown Eyes 1547 is asking a question, and I know that you're not a financial advisor, neither am I, but they're asking you, should we stop putting our money in our 401ks?
That is up to you, my darling. Good question. The problem is we have no idea what's going to be happening. We look at stocks and we cringe. And I said to my best friend, gee, stocks are down. Should we buy some now? Because they're going to go up. I don't have any information on 401ks. However, if you will watch the more detailed video on my YouTube channel, I talk about, well, our money, taxes, our money, other people's money. I can tell in your chart, your own personal chart, how your money picture looks. And I'm not suggesting you run out there and spend money on a forecast. I am offering a special though. And if you can swing it, you'll get a good, probably it's supposed to be a 6-month forecast, but because of the eclipses, it turns out to be like 8 or 9 months. And I can look more at your chart because, and this is going to sound crazy, it doesn't matter what's going on out there in the world. What matters is what you're creating by your attitude and what's going on in your chart.
I'm so glad you said that, Maxine, because we're really not at the mercy of the universe's energies, right? I mean, they can affect us, but if we're prepared, we can navigate it differently, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. What the dark side wants is to make us victims, to make us scared, to make us sad, to make us sick, to make us die. Um, and so we feel that some people feel they're at the mercy of the virus. They want to separate us from one another. And having these wonderful online birthday parties and people dancing in their neighborhoods. I think that's great. If you will look for the silver lining in every issue and you say, please, how can I do that? I have children to feed. The company I worked for has bellied up. We don't know how long. What kind of blessing is there in that? Well, it's time for you to become then an entrepreneur, isn't it? What can you offer our planet? What can you offer our planet that you do beautifully, that you do well? That's where you earn your money now. I was on a show recently and I said, do you have a teenager? Do you have a leaf blower? There's money to be made doing that. And I know some people just say, well, I can't do that. And it's not enough money for me. If you need money, it helps. I saw on, I think it was Good Morning America today, they talked about selling your clothes online, selling what you don't need, eliminating subscriptions to magazines you just leave in the guest bath. You know what I'm saying? And this is why I'm offering a special at a $50 deduction because I want to make it available to everyone. We need a personal forecast. You cannot go by the weeping and wailing of people who are frightened. You have to step forward as a light. And that means when you are happy, you are healthy. So
Yeah.
do what makes you happy.
And
And a lot of
that's science, Miss Maxine. That's science says that. If you're happy, your immune system's better. Go ahead.
absolutely. Now, personally, I'll tell you what I do. This is just my recipe. I have a weekly acupuncture session with the most wonderful acupuncturist I could possibly have. I have a chiropractic adjustment pretty much once a week. And I have a health practitioner who does NAET, N-A-E-T. She's also a nurse practitioner. And we're in such attunement that I can work with her over the phone. I'm proactive. No, I don't take medication unless it's absolutely called for. Then I'm grateful for it. But I'm not sitting around scared that a bug is going to hit me because with all of the homeopathic remedies I'm taking, if I sneezed on anybody, I mentioned this to you earlier, if I sneezed on anybody, I cure them.
I love it.
And I'm not afraid. No, I'm not wearing a mask. I'm not thumbing my nose at anything. I am taking precautions. I am staying home. My life hasn't changed. I work from my home. It gets lonely sometimes. So I have lunch with girlfriends. Well, that's not in the cards anymore, but I can talk to people.
Right. Right. Okay, we have another question. Lori Rowe, I think it's not Lori, maybe L Rowe. Does the chart show when the quarantine's going to lift? Can it be that specific?
During one of those times when our health looks better. Remember, even millions of people can, if they come from light, can change things. And I have indicated when we have money, which is the eclipse, when Mercury and Venus are retrograde, it's going to be crazy. And each state may be different. You want to keep that in mind. We are one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. But as states, our governors have, and our state congresses, state senate, state, representatives can enact laws, and act independently. So those dates that I gave you indicate that that could be a time, I mean, could seriously be a time when we have the end of the quarantine. That's our health. And I apologize, I've not been clear because I can't say the quarantine's going to end now. But this whole show I'm doing is about when we might expect an improvement in our health. Well, if our health improves, you think we're going to be quarantined? So see it happening. Move into living the way you want to live. Don't sit there worried. Plan your next step. The way to create, as I'm sure you know, is to move into the feeling of having what you want. But more than that, it's to move past it and say, now that I have created in my own life what I want for myself, this is what I'm doing. I'm writing a book about it. I'm making a movie on it. I'm going out and I'm buying my clothes, my new hairdo. Thank God the salons are open again. Make it light and funny. That's how you do it.
Right.
I hope I'm clear.
You imagine it. The feeling is the secret. I mean, really and truly, you have to imagine it. Even the Bible says to pray and then believe as if you've already received it.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so next question. Well, Phoenix Moon Rising says, hi, Cheryl, love your videos and love watching Maxine's videos too. Both of you ladies have wonderful energy. Thank you, Phoenix Moon Rising. Wayne's asking a question. I'm Saturn in Aquarius. Any advice for those entering their second Saturn return?
Oh, yes. Second Saturn return is much easier than the first, Wayne. It's really cool. You get wisdom on your second Saturn return because it coincides most of the time with a Jupiter return. Remember, Jupiter has a 12-year cycle. Jupiter is optimism. Saturn is reality. Saturn in astrology books is often listed as fear and restriction, and people are scared to death of Saturn. I finally, years ago, realized, wait a second, Saturn is reality. Saturn represents the should and ought to authority figures, our bloodline, our ancestors, our inheritance from our past. And so it pulls us into, I have to do this, I should do this, I ought to do this. In Aquarius, which it co-rules, it brings a much more humanitarian tone. And so when you have had Saturn in Aquarius your whole life, Saturn builds structures, and there is a humanitarian structure then that you want to bring about in your life. The first Saturn return is a reality check. It's a reality hitting you in the face. Second one, with a Jupiter return, Jupiter is abundance and expansion and optimism, and it gives us balance. Things are never then as terrible as they were or as wonderful as they were. They are balanced. And this can be the balance between God's law and man's law.
I love that. I love that. Okay, so Leanne wants to know, what major changes or trends can we expect in regard to employment and healthcare in the coming months?
Okay, I just told you that.
Yeah, you did talk about that. Okay, what are expected energies of the Jupiter-Pluto conjunction?
Well, it's just for a short period of time. Pluto is control, and Jupiter is a lot of. Now, I said earlier it was the great benefic, but it means a lot of, and if it's sitting next to a planet like Pluto that says, don't mess with me, I'll explode all over you. You're going to have a lot more. Don't mess with me. I'll explode all over you. However, Pluto is also the planet of transmutation and transformation. And so Pluto holds on because it knows if it's going to blow, it's going to take everything with it. And Jupiter is saying, I'm adding a pile of abundance to that. So it means it's going to be all or nothing. We're either hanging on to the past. And of course, this is taking place in Capricorn tradition. So there's a very strong Saturn influence naturally. But Jupiter's going to move into Aquarius. Well, it's there now. Is it there now? I don't have my ephemeris with me. And forgive me, I've been doing charts all day. But when it moves into Aquarius, yeah, it's not there yet. There's more humanitarianism.
Wow.
Less victimization. And so what I see is a very, very strong out with the old, in with the new. And so when Pluto, by the way, enters Aquarius, Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, electronics, electricity. Here, there'll be great new inventions. There will be changes in the vibration of all electronic appliances. And this can affect our health very strongly because it brings new waves of energy and blocks old ones. But this is and that'll happen in 2024, which is just around the corner. So you asked about Jupiter and Pluto. You decide if you want to be resurrected or you want to hang on to the old, because Jupiter says, I'll bless you. I'll give you whatever you want.
Yeah, that's
and it depends on the aspects the other planets make to Jupiter.
right.
Pluto, excuse me. Pluto.
So basically, whatever we decide we want, we're going to get more of it.
You got it.
Us, yeah. So that was from D Baker. Thank you, D, for asking that question. So Brown Eyes wants to know, can you do her chart if she doesn't know her birth time?
That's a great question. Not really. It's not accurate. I can do what is called a solar chart. And it works hand in hand with your birth chart. I prefer not to, because it's very difficult to be as specific as I'd like to be.
Yeah.
Now, a word about not having your birth time. Everybody's got a birth time. Everybody's got one. They may not know what it is, but everybody's got one. If you were adopted, and the adoption was a kosher adoption, went through all the right channels, you have papers. You can ask that your file be opened and your original birth certificate will be there and probably has a birth time on it. In the case of not being adopted, every state capital has a Bureau of Vital Statistics. They call it births and deaths, perhaps. Every hospital has a record of the babies born there. Usually the hospital takes the records and turns them over to the Bureau of Vital Statistics in the capital of the state where you were born. On that original birth certificate, there should be a birth time. In the case that there is not, ask your family members to think back. Look in a baby book, look in the family Bible. I had a client who had the little tag that they put on the baby's bassinet in the delivery suite that listed the birth time on that.
Wow.
And it was in the family Bible.
Wow.
So okay. in answer to the question, not really.
Okay, so we answered Wayne's question about the Saturn return because a lot of people have questions like that. Loretta's asking what's in store for her. And Loretta, I don't do personal, no offense, I just don't take the community's time to answer your questions, but you can certainly email Maxine. We'll give her information at the end and she'll be happy to do a reading for you. Okay.
Or just go to my website. Just go to my website. That's it.
Yes. Okay, so I'm looking for more questions. What about 5G?
Ah, that opens Pandora's box, doesn't it?
I've been hearing a lot of people say something about 5G and that it's connected to this virus and all kinds of stuff, but I don't even understand all that.
Well,
So
it's an energy pattern that is with us now, and it has its good points and its not so good points. It can make you sick. We've all heard of chemtrails. I think I'll just leave it at that. It is the latest evolution of our energy patterns, of our energy fields. And well, if you have, for example, if you wear your phone on your ear, all that energy is going into your brain. And there's a lot of question about how good that is for you physically. We are being hit by new energies, and they create new illnesses. And if our immune systems are strong, if we catch those germs, we can recover quickly. If our immune systems are not strong, then we might succumb. But that is part of the 5G energy pattern.
very interesting.
Yes.
Okay, so were you going to say something else, Maxine? Did I interrupt? Okay, so see Nicole's life journey. I almost missed that question, see, because I didn't have a question mark or anything. Anyway, she wants to know, Miss Maxine, do you happen to do mentoring?
Yes, I do. I've started doing that. They're for people who I offer webinars on astrology. I'm teaching people how to learn astrology. Some people think it's real easy and then they take the basic course and I never hear from them again.
Wow.
But what I do is I mentor people, and I'll be doing this more, who either study astrology with me or I have a book called Move into the Magic. It's not astrological, and I'm sure I talked about it last time I was on. Releasing our programming is vital.
Yeah.
The mommy and daddy messages, you can read them in the chart. Sun is daddy, moon is mommy. Saturn is the should and ought to relatives. Pluto is the matriarch. These messages own us. And so I have a session on my website under, I think it's called spiritual coaching. It's a 3-hour session where I give you the steps, and in 3 hours, you see the messages you received and how they own you. We release them, we rewrite them. The only problem is the neural pathway for them is very deep, and they can be re-triggered with a glance from somebody, with a word. If you look at our leaders, you can see their programming. Mm-hmm. It's the hand that rocks the cradle rules the world. Mommy and daddy, the two big ones. That to me is the way, even beyond astrology. And so I'm writing a book on that, and I'm interviewing women who have had experiences that have held them down and back. It's called The First Sexual Imprinting. And I see this as a vitally important subject that has been, it's the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
The elephant in the room. And it keeps you victimized. So yes, I'll be mentoring people who either are wonderful astrologers by the time I finish with them, or a wonderful it's called Take Back Your Life, counselors, or both. But it hasn't really gotten off the ground quite yet. They have, so when I do my astrology webinars, I start with the very foundation, then we go into chart interpretation. We lose several people because they had a misinterpretation of astrology in their heads. And then we go on to forecasting. And the ones who make it through the end, I look at very seriously if they want to be an astrologer, and I certainly help them become one.
I love that. I might add that to my to what I do. I might call you. Okay, great. We have about 4 minutes left. So why don't you take that little bit of time, Maxine? I don't see any further questions. And if you would make sure, again, tell people how to reach you, what your special is right now, all that good stuff.
Oh, I'd be glad to. Thank you, darling. My website is MaxineTaylor.com. I use my name because I can remember it. Seriously, MaxineTaylor.com. Everything I offer is there. My YouTube channel, where I do my Trumpology reports and my monthly readings on every sign and other readings, is Maxine Taylor Astrologer. And those videos are free of charge. I have on my website, MaxineTaylor.com, videos that I've done 5 years ago with the Atlanta Interfaith Broadcasting Network on how to interpret your birth chart. That's Astrology 101. How to forecast it, Astrology 201. And I already did another pilot with them. It's been 5 years, and that's already going to be up there. And on Tuesday, I'm going down to the station, and we're going to knock out a bunch of shows on more advanced astrology, including how to read your parental messages in your birth chart. So my special is a 6-month forecast based on your month, day, and year. Don't tell me you were born early in the morning. That's 12:01 a.m. to 11:59 a.m. Give me, a real sure enough birth time. Month, day, and year, city and state, and exact time. And I video it. And first you send me your questions, so I make sure I cover them on the video. And then I send it to you. And if you have questions after that, you can ask them. And if you have questions after that, you can ask them. Okay? I think that's pretty much it. What you see is what you get. If you like what you're seeing, you will love your forecast, because I want to tell you what's fabulous about it. If I do your birth chart, I'm going to tell you how wonderful you are. Because you are God in an earthbound body. You are spirit made manifest. How could there be anything wrong with spirit, with God? Well, our programming says you're bad. And that's why we have to go beyond the chart to the truth. We are infinite, immortal.
I love it.
Always healthy, beautiful, and entitled to wealth. Except maybe grandma doesn't want us to have it. So that's the deal.
So there you go with that. Okay, well, I want to say thank you, but before I do that, I just want to remind everybody. I said earlier in the broadcast, I will not be doing spirit roundtable tomorrow morning. I don't plan on fixing my hair, my makeup, my face, anything. I'm going to be catching up on emails for reading requests. So if you have emailed me for a reading and you have not heard back from me, please know I will get to that in the morning. And I apologize for the delay. There's just been so much going on. But anyway, that's that. Miss Maxine, thank you so very much for spending time with us. And of course, I'm going to want to have you on again, because the energies are always changing.
Well, I am honored that you invited me again, and I would love to be back with you. You just are a love. You are so beautiful. You're a light what you do is lift our planet. And that's the kind of person I want to hang with. So
I mean, with you.
wish you live, what state do you live in?
I'm in Louisiana and you're right there in Atlanta, Georgia. I mean, we're not that far apart. That's less
Oh,
than a day's drive.
well, you know, when this, not curfew, but this, you know, shelter in place thing is over, we really ought to think about getting together, maybe and meeting halfway or someplace, a group of people and having a round table.
Oh, I
Uh,
think that's a great idea.
wouldn't that be fun? Just for a couple hours on a day, you know, for one day,
Yeah,
and lift the planet.
I
Just
think
saying.
it's a great idea. I think that's a great idea. Okay. And guys, Tuesday night, I almost rescheduled, I almost double booked. Tuesday night, Dr. T's going to be back with us. Wednesday night, Roberta Grimes is going to be with us. And she's actually a friend of Maxine's. And I've listened to her on YouTube and stumbled across a video where they were talking to each other. And I was like, oh my God. I was so excited.
That video that you're going to do with her, let me tell you, viewers, don't miss it.
No.
Don't miss it. Yeah, the energy between the two of you is going to be awesome.
Well,
I know she loved you. I know she loved you, and I know you love her.
Oh, I absolutely love her. Yes. So, and I can't wait to visit with her. So, but anyway, I think yes, I'm excited about as soon as this self-isolation lifts, we're going to get together. And yeah, maybe we'll let everybody know where we're going to get together so they can come too. We can all raise the planet together.
Oh, what a great idea.
Yeah. Okay. I love you. Bye-bye. And Spirit Mail community, I love y'all too. Thank you so much for being here tonight and spending time with us. And I look forward to, I will see y'all on Monday. No round table in the morning. Love you guys. Oh, wait, no, that's not what I want to do.